Hello guys and welcome back to another FPL video. My name is FPL Meerkat and today I've got my Game Week 25 team selection for you guys. You can probably hear it a little bit in my voice, but I'm pretty sick right now. I've decided to make this video now because I don't want to get any worse. I seem to have caught this bug that's going around and I probably won't be live streaming tomorrow, unfortunately. Given that I'm feeling very, very tired. But yeah, I thought I might as well just get this video quickly as this is a pretty important game week. So yeah, I'll just talk about how my team is looking. Before I get into that, let's quickly run over how the team did in game week 24. And yeah, it was a pretty bad game week. The team itself looks okay in terms of the scores I got, but of course, I don't have Haaland, and Haaland captaincy absolutely ruined it. In terms of getting any chance of a green arrow, and Palmer as well, a massive deficit into the rank. Both of those two players are basically the only two I had to worry about, and they both went massive. So yeah, that wasn't very good. Ben White getting 9 points was nice, given that I don't have Gabriel or Saliba in the team. It was nice that he got an assist. I was actually on Twitter complaining about what a bad pick it was to go for White instead of Gabriel. And yeah, he did actually come away with an assist, so that was quite nice. So yeah, a little bit of luck there. Yeah, it was a pretty jammy assist, if I'm honest. Dubravka getting 1 point. I did actually mention about Newcastle's chance of a clean sheet. If Dubravka loses clean sheet, he's basically only going to get 1 or 2 points because the amount of shots that Newcastle concede are all from counters. They're all from fast breaks, which is very difficult for the keeper to save them. So yeah, he's not really going to make many saves is the issue. So yeah, and to be honest, I was lucky not playing Areola because he shipped so many goals. Moreno lost his clean sheet there as well, which is a real shame because he created so many chances in that Man United game. I thought it was very hard done by for him to come away with only 1 point, and he got subbed off immediately after the goal went in. So yeah, just to rub salt in the wound. Trent getting an assist, but then going off with an injury, which is really bad because it looks like he's going to be out for game week 25 in its entirety. So I'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. Captaincy on Jota went pretty well, I think, getting 7 points doubled. It's just a shame that there were quite a few other better assets than him. But yeah, really happy with the score that Jota got. One of those assets being Saka, who got 15 points in Arsenal's absolute demolition of West Ham. If I was going to wildcard last week, I would have gotten rid of Saka, so I was very relieved in that. And instead, I would have had Richarlison, so it would have been even worse. I would have had Haaland, but yeah, I wouldn't have been happy about getting rid of Saka. The triple up on the Man City players only getting 9 points is absolutely terrible for me. Alvarez starting and yet blanking yet again. Foden blanking, getting a clean sheet point at least. And then De Bruyne being benched but coming off and still getting a return. He is just so darn good, isn't he? Despite not even starting the game. Darwin getting a goal. Should have had a lot more than one goal, to be honest. But that's just classic Darwin. And Watkins getting a blank as well. So yeah, not great for the team there. A pretty huge red arrow there, which has undone quite a lot of the work I've done recently, which is a shame, down to about 165k. Moving on to the team for game week 25. I've got the triple captain active and I don't own Haaland. I don't think there's many content creators out there who are in my situation right now. But yeah, I've been tinkering around quite a bit with how I could potentially get Haaland back. And yeah, I'm basically just going to have to make up that decision. Do I pull the trigger and get Haaland in? It's going to be for a -8 as well, because I don't have enough money in the bank to go straight up from Alvarez to Haaland and then sacrifice one of the players, unless it's De Bruyne, who I obviously don't want to get rid of because he looks really good at the moment. So if I want to get Haaland in, it's going to have to be for a -8. And I think De Bruyne's a fairly good asset in terms of captaining. And so therefore, I've got the triple captain on him currently. He did absolutely amazing in the Copenhagen game, just gone in the Champions League. So yeah, I really like the thought of De Bruyne triple captaincy. It's just the fact that, obviously I don't have Haaland and he will probably start twice and absolutely ruin me. So I've really got to think about that. Obviously, Trent is injured. Now, Trent being injured has opened a doorway for me where, for the exact money that I have right now, so I have to check on the price rises and falls. I think if Trent falls in price, it doesn't actually affect me because I bought him at 8.3. He's 8.6 right now. If he falls to 8.5, it doesn't affect me. in terms of his selling value. But if I go from Trent to Bradley, who's hopefully going to be his right back replacement, I don't know if he'll start both games, but I'm hoping that he starts at least one of them. If I go to Bradley, I can then do Alvarez to Haaland, which makes it a -4. Sorry, no, not Alvarez to Haaland. Well, I will do Alvarez to Haaland, but if I do Gordon, who's on the bench currently, to a 4.2 million mid, the cheapest possible, someone like a Chuameka, and Trent to Bradley, that gives me exactly enough money to go Alvarez to Haaland. Is that worth a -8? Now, Alvarez could potentially start both games in the double, to be honest. He started every single game for Man City. He could easily just play both of these games. The problem is he's looked so far off it. His expected data has been so low, given that De Bruyne and Haaland are now back in the team. And the only game when it wasn't low is when he was playing up front when there was no Haaland and he had De Bruyne feeding him. But yeah, I think Haaland's going to start both these games in the double, so I don't think Alvarez gets a chance up top at all. But looking at the team as a whole, it looks really good. It's just no Haaland is absolutely terrifying at the moment. I've heard Porro as well might be injured. Bayer has still got an injury, so I will have 3 injuries there. All defenders as well, so I'm going to have to make a defensive transfer, I think. Trent has been, I think it's been confirmed that he's going to miss the entirety of Game Week 25, so that makes it a little bit easier for me. And obviously with Liverpool's blank in 26, I was going to bench him anyway, so getting in Bradley doesn't actually impact me in any way. I would, however, still need to make a transfer to have a full 11 in Game Week. Oh, sorry, no, I'd have to make 2 because I'd been getting in Chuameka, who's not going to play, or cheap as possible, not going to play, and Bayer is still injured. And then potentially, well, Porro I'd be benching anyway. But that does add up. Oh, no, that adds up to 6, doesn't it? Oh, goodness me. Okay, I would have to think about that in terms of Game Week 26 because I'd look pretty rough for that. And obviously, if I wildcard, it would only really be to get in Haaland, which doesn't really seem that worth it. And I couldn't use a triple captain. I think if I get in Haaland, I mean, it's not certain that if I get Haaland, I won't triple captain De Bruyne. I just think it looks really good for De Bruyne. I'm mainly skewed by that Champions League game that just happened. It is definitely possible that De Bruyne can haul and Haaland can blank, even though it seems very unlikely. It is possible. And I do think that De Bruyne, I think he starts the Chelsea game. I think that's sure. And I think he gets, I'm going to say about 80 minutes, 70, 80 minutes. And then there's a chance he starts the Brentford game and gets about 60. So I'm hopeful for about 130, 140 minutes from De Bruyne. He could easily be benched in that Brentford game, though. And then, he comes on for 20, 30, and we only get 90 out of him. But 90, I think, is the minimum I'm expecting for De Bruyne, and 140 minutes is the maximum. But it's De Bruyne. He can get so many points in such little time. We've seen him getting haul off the bench. So, yeah, I'm optimistic about this triple captaincy. It is just so different to everyone else that is kind of terrifying. Because if it goes wrong, my season's over. So I'm not being different just for the sake of it, which I know a lot of people will see, no Haaland, oh, you're just being different for the sake of it. I've just been, I've been dealt this hand where I didn't have enough money to get Haaland back in. I was hopeful that maybe Salah would be available. That's a whole nother thing I need to cover, by the way, is if Salah is going to be fit, because I do have ways of getting in Salah. So I could potentially have De Bruyne and Salah in the team and no Haaland, which I think can combat Haaland pretty well. I would have to sacrifice. If I sacrifice Trent, I could go all the way down on him, and then only sacrifice. I'd sacrifice Gordon potentially if I can make up enough funds. Or the more likely case is I'd be sacrificing Jota. And I think the upgrade of Alvarez to Haaland is a lot better than the upgrade of Jota to Salah. But yeah, in terms of the rest of the team, though, the single game weekers, I'm really happy that I have Ben White and Saka for Arsenal and Moreno and Watkins still for Villa. The thing I do need to worry about, though, is Digne's back for Aston Villa, so Moreno might not start this Fulham game. I do really need him for this one, and to be honest, I do need him for the blank as well. So I've got a fair few semi-issues in the team at the moment, especially in the defence. Ben White's the only one who's not got a problem, and to be honest, Tomiyasu, is he on his way back? I'm not quite sure, but there might be every chance that he gets benched too. But yeah, with the rest of the team, it looks great on paper. And to be honest, I don't think I'm going to be starting Dubravka. I think I'm going to be starting Areola. Now, I know that West Ham just conceded 6 goals to Arsenal, but Arsenal are like the, third best attack in the league. They're certainly in the top 3 best attacks in the league. And West Ham, I'm hoping, they'll concede shots. So I think Areola's going to make lots of saves. And I think that Newcastle lose their clean sheet. So that's what I'm banking on, is that Areola beats Dubravka based on save points. So yeah, I think I will probably start Areola. And then, yeah, I've still got Gordon on the bench, who I don't mind playing. But if I'm going to have to sacrifice someone to get one of the more expensive players like Haaland, it's probably going to be Gordon. I could potentially sacrifice Watkins as well, but then I've got a triple up on City still, so I'd have to get rid of one of them. And De Bruyne and Foden are going nowhere because they've looked absolutely exceptional, and one of them could outscore Haaland. So getting rid of one of them to get Haaland just for a hit just feels silly to me. So yeah, very interesting. A lot to think about when it comes to this one. Moving on to the mini league team of the game week. Jared Felon, good mate on Twitter, with the top score of the game week with 96 there. It was actually a tie, I think, for the top score. But I've decided to feature Jared's team here purely because Reguilon. I did talk about Reguilon in my previous video, but he decided to pick him up with a 12-pointer. Really, really nice there from Jared. I don't know if I'd be playing Reguilon in the double. It's a very, very tough double on paper. But this Wolves fixture, obviously he plays in all the blanks. But that Wolves fixture and getting an assist and a clean sheet was just an absolute haul for Reguilon. So really, really good job there. Rest of the team, pretty standard, but very, very solid. Flecken, unfortunately, on the bench with 7 points as well. I don't know if you wanted a double up on the Brentford defence there. But yeah, a bit unfortunate there with Flecken on the bench. Tony, of course, returning the triple up on the City attack, but you had Haaland captain, so it really didn't matter. The other two blanked. De Bruyne didn't blank, but got less points than ideal. Saka absolutely hauling, and having Saliba as well. So yeah, a huge score here for Jared. Well done to him. And it was actually a really good game week for people at the top of the mini league leaderboard. I think the top 3 were all featured on the top 20. So there's been a huge shake-up, as you can see here on the leaderboard. Jared is now winning with his 2 gold medals and a silver medal, and Alan as well also got a gold medal. So there's now 3 people who have won a game week, which is super exciting to see. So there's been a huge shake-up at the top there. And then the rest of the people shaking around a little bit based on the fact that Jared and Alan have overtaken them. But I'm going to wrap it up for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content on the channel. I probably won't have a video out tomorrow as I'm feeling really tired and under the weather, but I will post what I do on my Twitter if you want to check what my final team is. Am I going to be triple captaining De Bruyne? Am I going to even own Haaland? Am I going to own Salah? There are still so many question marks before what is quite possibly the biggest game week of the season. So I hope you've enjoyed. Check the channel out if you want to check out the other content I made in the week. I made a video about the best double game week assets, and I made a video about which is the best chip to be using in this double game week. But I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next FPL video.